Hello, church planters. I am Herbert Cooper, senior pastor of People's Church. And my wife and I started People's Church in 2002. And we had no clue what we were doing. I was 26 years old and she was 24. And obviously CMN was not established and there was no matching funds. There were not near the resources there are today. I'm very grateful for CMN and all of the resources for church planters. And I can remember when we started our church, we worked extremely hard. So I don't believe you can be a church planter without having some grit to you, some grind, some going the extra mile. And so, man, we worked really hard. I actually didn't take a salary from our church for the first year. I spoke out and traveled, and that's how I was able to make a living, put food on the table, and even help underwrite the church. I don't recommend this for a church planting strategy or to keep the church afloat, but that's what we had to do in the early days. The second year of the church, I traveled to come up with about half or more of our salary. So I was only part-time the second year of our church. And so I say this to say we were working really hard. My wife was a school teacher. I would preach on Sundays at People's Church, and then I would catch a plane to go preach a revival or do a youth camp or do a Sunday night service or at a conference. So it was just constant grind, and fly back and then work at the church and meeting people and coffees with people. And we were just going 100 miles an hour to get our church off the ground. And I'll tell you what, that took a toll on us. The weariness that set in on us because we were going so hard and so fast. And so my wife and I, early on in our church plant, within those first couple of years, we realized we had to have a good rhythm so that we could have a healthy marriage. A year or two within our church, when our first child was born. And so we had to really evaluate, how do we really make our family a priority and continue to move the church forward? And listen, I am wired. I actually like to work. I enjoy work. I'm one of those people, when I'm gone on vacation, I actually miss my job. I miss work. I enjoy what I do. So I have to really work to make sure that I keep my priorities right, that my marriage stays one of my top priorities, my children stay one of my top priorities, and that I keep Herbert Cooper healthy. And I'll say this to you, I haven't always been great at it. When I look throughout the years, I haven't always hit the mark. I have grown throughout the years. I feel like I'm much better now at taking care of my wife, at taking care of my children, and taking care of myself. And here's just some things I would share with you about taking care of your wife, taking care of your husband, taking care of your children, and taking care of yourself. I think the key word I would say is it takes being intentional. It takes being intentional. And here's something I've learned. When it comes to intentionality and when it comes to your priorities, listen to me, church planter, when it comes to your priorities are not a feeling, they're an action. And so I used to think that I was taking care of my wife, that I was meeting her needs because I felt that I was. But as we continued to talk and I began to listen more, I began to realize that my actions were not aligned with my feelings. I thought things were great. I thought marriage was great. I thought she was doing fine. But from her perspective, although I felt that she was feeling neglected, she felt like the church came before her. She felt like my schedule was way too busy and I was doing way too much at night. And so I had to realize when it comes to my priorities, they're not feelings, they are actually actions. I realize some of you right now, you feel like things are going great at home. You feel like marriage is great. But I think for some of you, you would find out if you sat down and had an honest, safe conversation with your spouse, they would say, things are not going the way that I would want them to go in our marriage. And so when it comes to priorities, they are not feelings, they are actions. And so now I had to be intentional to spend time with my wife. So Thursday nights for us, it's date night. It's on my calendar. I'll plan my calendar out for the year and I'll look at it and I ensure that date nights are on the calendar. It's important for my wife and I that we connect. It's a time that we talk, we hang out, we go have fun together. We might talk about our children, we might work on the budget. We just really spend intentional time together cultivating our marriage. So that's really big. For us as a Cooper family, on Friday nights on my calendar is family date night. And so we spend time with our children. And please hear me, we're not a perfect family. So we don't have a perfect schedule. So yes, my kids are older. I've got teenagers as well. And so sometimes we have a ball game, or there's homecoming, or there's lots of activities, but we put on the calendar, let's spend family time. And I would say 2 or 3 times a month. When they were little, it was every week, but I would say 2 or 3 times a month, Friday nights, we're together as a family and we're hanging out and we're investing in our family. It's being intentional. I actually have learned to put my vacations on my calendar before the year starts. So before the year starts, I have to map out my energy. And listen to me, pastors, you have to know you. You have to know your rhythm. You have to know how you're wired so that you take care of yourself. So I know my rhythms. After doing this for these many years, I know Herbert Cooper now. So I know when I'm going to have the best energy spurts. I know when the church needs my energy the most. For me, I work 6 days a week. So I grind 6 days a week. I take off 1 day a week. But I do that, but I also know on the back end of it when I need my rest. And when I rest, I really do disconnect and take a break so that I can come back and I can work hard again. You have to figure that out. What are your rhythms? How often do you need off? When do you lose your creative edge? When do you feel like you have to speak and not want to speak? How many Sundays in a row can you go and keep that flow and keep that energy and keep your study time and keep your creativity? You have to learn those rhythms, and I have learned that for myself. So when do you need a speaking break? Get that on your calendar. Once you learn yourself, put it on your calendar at the beginning of the year. So that's been really, really big for me. Right now, I'm shooting this in January. And I can tell you right now, when I have my breaks, I got a break coming up in March. I got a week off. I can tell you at the end of May, I'll take another break. I'll take a breather there. So you got a calendar, put it on your calendar. October, I'll take another break. Thanksgiving week, I'll take another break. You got to know your rhythms so that you can stay healthy and take care of yourself. And then there are just daily disciplines that, again, you got to be intentional. It has to get on your calendar or you won't take care of yourself. Every morning I get up and pray. That's a discipline. That's a habit. I spend time with Jesus. There's not a morning. I can't tell you the last time I haven't read my Bible every morning. I do that every morning. It has to be a discipline. I go to the gym 3 or 4 or 5 times a week. It's on my calendar. Obviously, my schedule varies, but I spend time just taking care of myself. I try to eat healthy to take care of myself. Now listen to me. A brother likes pizza. I like to eat. I like food just like you. I love sweets, but I just try to take care of Herbert Cooper. And I've learned this. I have more energy. I have more patience. I'm more likable to be around when I feel good and my energy's good and I'm taking care of myself. And one thing I would encourage you to do is take some time in your schedule with your spouse and have great checkups, where you have an honest conversation on how things are going. And I had to get enough security in me, working through all my insecurities, that I could sit down and listen to my wife and she could say whatever she would like to say, and I could make the changes in my life that would benefit her and make her happy. And I'm telling you, that's been a game changer in our marriage and our relationship, sitting down, having an honest, safe conversation on how each of us can become better and have a stronger marriage and make one another happy. And that's also being intentional. So hey, church planner, take care of your spouse. Take care of your spouse. Don't put the church before your spouse. Take care of your children. Take care of your children. Family dates. Be at their ball games. I'm at my children's ball games. Be at their ball games. Be at their activities. Make sure you're investing in their life and spending time with them. And church planner, take care of yourself. Know your rhythms. Don't you fall into the trap of saying, it's a season. No. You can start living in a season. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family. Take care of your children. And listen to me. God will honor you and He'll grow your church.